Hi, my name is Antonio Garcia. My work, both in research and practice, has focused on how best to address racial inequities within child and family serving systems. As a former Child Protective Services worker, or CPS worker, I realized due to a plethora of organizational and systemic barriers that I could not effectively address the concerns and risk factors like addiction, mental health challenges, violence, or economic stressors that often lead to foster care involvement. Part of the reason why I face obstacles is that systems, including CPS organizations, are not father-focused. As I reflect upon my experience, fathers were indeed an afterthought. Did we as CPS workers attempt to contact the father? If so, our work with fathers was done, and we immediately shifted all of our attention to engaging mothers in services to address concerns and risk factors. Now, I dedicate part of my time as a professor and community-engaged researcher to understanding how to engage systems to be as father-focused as they are mother-focused. Achieving this goal is imperative. A father-focused system will equip fathers to co-parent effectively. We know from decades of research that when fathers engage in healthy co-parenting, kids from all ages, races, and backgrounds benefit. Dr. Rafael Perez Figueroa, who is an associate professor of urban global health at the Rutgers School of Public Health, will spend a little bit of time providing an overview of what we know about the concept of fatherhood and the effects of healthy father involvement in the first part of this training. In part 2, I will then delve into the structural and systemic barriers that prevent providers and leaders from engaging in father-focused practices, policies, and procedures. In both of these modules, we will discuss key findings from our fatherhood engagement study funded by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Both Dr. Perez Figueroa and I teamed up with Mr. David Cozart, the current visionary leader of the Commonwealth Center for Fathers and Families, also known as CCFF, in Kentucky. Thanks to Mr. Cozart's deep-seated connections to the community, we were able to recruit fathers and providers to participate in interviews from 2021 to 2022. The content of this training is informed and inspired by the experiences and stories they shared with us. We are truly excited for part 3 of this training. We were very fortunate to work with poets and hip-hop artists who used the findings from our study to convey key points. We will present these art-based products to generate a lively and authentic discussion about experiences, reflections, and recommendations on how to promote healthy father involvement. In doing so, we hope that our content and panel discussions offer ideas on how you or your organization can chart a path forward towards more inclusive practice with fathers and families. The training will conclude with Mr. Cozart offering an overview of CCFF, his vision for fatherhood work, and how providers can play a role by referring fathers to father-focused curriculum. And now Farah Tucker is going to read a poem that she wrote inspired by the data we collected in the aftermath of my absence.
In the aftermath of my absence, questions will haunt my child like they haunted me. Sleepless nights spent wondering why we weren't worth sticking around for. When fathers fail, children take the blame, decide they're undeserving of better. When fathers fall, we never fall alone. We tumble like dominoes, knocking down those who follow. A cascade of casualties left in our wake. My child will breathe my burdens into his bones until they merge with his own. My city, my country, my people will suffer indigestion from swallowing the stories of our sacrifice and bear the weight of our mistakes. But give us the tools, and all will be transformed by our triumphs.
The poem speaks to experiences many of the fathers we spoke with. They discuss the effects of intergenerational father absence, self-blame, feelings of unworthiness, fractured families and communities. But they also underscored that they can break this cycle if given the resources and opportunities to thrive. As you will soon see, the training will delve deeper into these core themes. I will now turn it over to Dr. Perez Figueroa, who will elaborate more on the effects of father absence.